Hi and welcome to tonight's Facebook Live in which we're going to talk about a spiritually based business. So if you want to know more about this topic, if you've got some questions, then that's what this live event is all about. Hi Sonia, nice to see you. I'm hoping that there's a few more people will join and that you'll each ask any questions you may have around the idea of a spiritually based business, so that it's not just me having a monologue. We've now got Marianne here, so hi Marianne. And it's a topic that I think is important because there's a lot of confusion around what a spiritually based business is. Hi Michelle, glad to see you. So the idea is that we have a bit of a chat around the whole topic and see if we can bring a little clarity, but more importantly, that we can clear away some of the huge illusions that people have around spiritually based businesses. We've now got Caroline and Glynis, so there's a few of you here that are interested in what this is all about. I'd like to begin by asking a question, because people have asked me to talk about how to operate a spiritually based business. And my question is, what does spiritually based mean? What do you mean when you talk about having a spiritually based business? Because there are a lot of ways that that can be interpreted. It's a loaded question, and it can cause a lot of excitement, but it can also lead to a lot of frustration and confusion. Any of you that would like to chip in with what you think a spiritually based business is, please type it in and let me know. And of course, share it to anybody else that will watch this later. Is a spiritually based business a business that is run along spiritual lines? Is it a business that is based on spirit? Marianne says it's about integrity and honesty. Sonia says it's led by spirit and serves spirit. So you see that there are two different possibilities just in those two answers. For me, a spiritually based business isn't a business from the beginning, and I'll clarify that. Tony and I never set out to start a business. We set out to help people. For us, it was about service. And what was really interesting was yesterday I was speaking to a friend of ours, Anita, and she passed a comment that has always been obvious to me, but it's the first time someone that I've been working with reflected it back. She said, Helen, I finally got it. She said, when you talk about service, you're not talking about serving people. You're talking about serving spirit. And I am. Service for me is about being willing to follow where spirit leads, knowing that wherever I'm led is exactly where I need to be of service to them in helping people in the world. It's got nothing to do with what I believe my service is all about. So being of service, Glynis says, being of service and collaborating with spirit, for me isn't it. For me it's about being of service to spirit and collaborating with people. There's a big difference. And that may put some people off, because some of you may feel that being of service to spirit means that you have to do as you're told. And sometimes you do, because sometimes you know that what you're being told to do is the best thing that you could possibly do as part of a bigger plan. If you're willing to serve spirit, spirit will show you how you can serve people. And that means then that you don't get caught up in your own illusions and your own ego. It means that the negative ego doesn't have an opportunity to take hold, and neither does a too positive ego. So I hope that one thing helps to clarify for all of you what, for me, a spiritually based business is about. We developed a business, but we didn't set out to create a business. There's a difference. We set out to serve spirit, and out of that, everything else unfolded. Sometimes we were celebrating, and sometimes we weren't quite celebrating. What it does, however, is it means that you can be absolutely certain that you are being who you are asked to be by your higher self. You are being where you are intended to be to serve spirit, and therefore your service is always in alignment with the divine plan. And if you're going to do that, the first thing to ask is, how well do I know myself? This is not about looking at what your strengths and your weaknesses are. This is about being willing to look at yourself through the eyes of your higher self and see everything you are, your faults and your virtues, as equal. And then putting that to one side and saying, okay, that's who I am. However, how does spirit see who I am, and what does spirit ask me to accomplish? So, if you know who you are, and the Temple of Delphi has a really good instruction, know thyself. If you know who you are at a spiritual level, not a personality level, you aren't going to have a problem with being part of the plan. And if you're serving spirit, and through serving spirit you're of service to others, then you'll go where you're asked to go, and you will do what you are asked to do, knowing that you're always taken care of. Just recently we were asked to consider returning to New Zealand. So we went back, we had a look, we were there from Monday evening to Friday morning, and in that period of time all of the signs were there, all of the intuition was there to show that this was exactly where we needed to be, and we understood why. And so we purchased a property, and we've come back to Australia with the idea of gradually transitioning over there in the easiest way possible, without objections and without resistance. That is being spiritually based. So how does that fit in with whether you're a forest, a beach, or a mountain? It fits in really well. Mountains are strong, silent, they're grounded, they're secure. And if you're spiritually based in that energy, then you're the rock upon which a lot can be created. Where you have to be careful as a mountain is that you don't become so fixed that you aren't open to the adventure that we call life. So mountain people anchor all of us. And as a spiritually based operation, they're the ones who serve on the front line. They're the ones who endure. If you're a forest person, you're changeable. The forest dies and grows and dies and grows. It's continuously reinventing itself. It's a place where you can really understand reincarnation, because everything that dies rebirths. So with a forest person, there's a variety to their life. There's a willingness to die and be reborn, to reinvent themselves regularly. And if you're in a spiritually based business, that's a really good quality to have. Being a mountain is a very good quality to have. Being a forest is an equally good quality to have, because no one is right or wrong. And so people that are forest people understand about growth and rebirth, understand the emotional energy that it takes to operate a spiritually based business, but keeps that emotional energy flowing. It doesn't allow it. The forest never gets out of control. With a beach, if you're a beach person, life's a breeze. Well, there is a phrase, is there not? Life's a beach. With the beach person, it's about change, because the ocean is continuously brushing against the shore and changing the shape of the shore over aeons of time. With the beach, it's playfulness, it's joy, it's fun, and it's change. So if you're a beach person, then you're adaptable. You will try to make whatever you do something enjoyable. So again, from a spiritually based business, you're operating from fun. Or at least, I hope you are. Because if you're not, it means you're so easily distracted that you don't actually achieve anything. I wanted to split this into two, because people asked me, what's a spiritually based business and what's an intuitively based business? And they're the same thing, but they come from opposite directions. If you want to operate a spiritually based business, first see yourself from a spiritual perspective. Look at yourself through the eyes of your higher self and see your potential, rather than looking from your personality and seeing your flaws. Whilst ever you face your flaws, they will get bigger and bigger, and there's no spirit involved in that, because spirit doesn't judge. Whilst ever you see your potential, you're continuously opening yourself up to everything that's possible. So in the next talk, I'm going to actually talk about what a spiritually based business looks like once the operator or the owner is aligned within his or herself. If you've got any questions, as always, pop them in the comments box. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next month. Thank you.